So first up, we'd like to bring up Bill Mitchell, CEO of Pico Brew. Come on up, Bill.
All right, welcome to the show, Bill. It's great to have you here. All right.
All right.
Thanks, John. Hi, I'm Bill. Can you hear me? Is this on? Hello? There you go. Oh, okay. Is this better? Ah, good. I'm Bill, and this little baby right here is the Pico Brew Zymatic. This is what happens when you take a computer scientist, a food engineer, and a mechanical and electrical engineer, and you put us together, and you give us this challenge, the challenge that I think many of you face as well. This all-important challenge of how do I ensure myself a never-ending supply of truly great craft beer for my kegerator? Recognizing the importance of the challenge, we've spent over 4 years on this problem. But fortunately, I'm here today to show you the fruits of our labor. This little baby right here eats grain and hops and water and poops out really great craft beer. So how's that for an invention? It really is that simple, though. I mean, you can think of this as a great big beer-producing Kindle. When you first get this machine, it's connected to your account on picobrew.com. It's pre-configured. You can go up to the count. Right now we have over 60, many of them award-winning beer recipes, and some of them are clones for the beers that you just can't get. Things like Heady Topper, Pliny the Elder, beers that basically were part of our big mission. How can we fill our kegerators with the truly good stuff? So you can go up there and get a recipe, or you can use our great tools to create your own unique craft beers. So we have some very unique predictive recipe crafting tools. Either way, once you have a recipe, it's a simple matter of going to an online brew store and ordering ingredients, just grain, hops, and yeast. Or, in fact, if you want an easier path, you can work with some of our vendors, like our partners like Mountain Homebrew, and get a pre-kitted ingredient. Set of ingredients. But either way, you secure your ingredients, you load up the machine, just load up the grain in this compartment, the hops in these little hops cages, and you can use leaf hops like this or pellet hops. You load them up in this polycarbonate container, we call this the step filter, and you feed them into the mouth of the machine here. You fill up your keg here with water, and just turn on the machine. It connects over Wi-Fi or Ethernet to picobrew.com, to your account, seamlessly synchronizes with your recipes, select the recipe you want to brew, hit brew, and you're off and running. And you really are off and running. You can walk away and monitor the progress of your brew from any web browser or your smartphone. You can see exactly where you are, how far you're in the mash, how much time you have left for your brew. Takes about 3.5 hours, but it's completely unattended. You can go to work, or you can mow your lawn, or whatever. And then when you're done, what started out as water in this keg has been magically converted to unfermented beer. So at that point, all you do is pop the top off, disconnect these ball locks, open this up, put in a package of yeast, close it up again, put it somewhere relatively cool for about a week. It ferments. At the end of the fermentation, transfer it to a drinking keg, let it sit and chill overnight in your kegerator, chills carbonates overnight, and it's ready to drink.
So Todd, this is an expression I didn't think we'd hear at the GeekWire Summit today. This machine poops out beer. Oh my gosh,
Exactly.
that's let me get that image out of my head for a second, Bill. But so this is a cloud-based beer making machine, essentially, because it connects to the internet and automatically syncs that recipe and does everything for you.
But wait, there's more.
Okay, tell me, please tell me.
It dices and it slices. No, the sad, sad problem. We took up this challenge. We have achieved the results that we were after. But the problem is, man does not live on beer alone.
Tell me more.
I know. It's sad. It's a sad but unfortunate truth. You need steak as well. And fortunately, this is also the biggest open source, we'd like to think the most accurate sous-vide machine as well. So you can actually, believe it or not, sous vide yourself steak too. So you got steak, you got beer, you're set for life.
Wow.
Right, so
how much does this cost? How much does the device cost?
We actually are happy. We just started shipping these. We had a big Kickstarter campaign last year. The base model is $1,700. With keg, it's $1,800.
Todd, you got a Christmas gift for me. Do you know I used to be a home brewer?
I did know that.
You
so
did?
How does the process that you went through as a home brewer compare to the Pico brewer?
I actually technically really wish I did have this sort of machine. Home brewing is not easy. It's messy, it's sticky, it takes a lot of time. This self-cleans, is that right, Bill? It self-cleans. So I'm not there scrubbing pots or cleaning out bottles or doing that. Wow, it's a huge process.
Well, and I do have a little something for you guys, because I know you've been working hard.
Yes.
And I've kind of sensed that you're getting a little thirsty.
I think it might be beer 30.
Yeah, I know where you're
Isn't it
going.
beer
I brought
30?
you a little growler.
Nice.
And I'd like to pour you a little beverage just so you can
I need my morning beer, of course.
sort of, in case something bad happens up here, you know.
Todd, you just take it easy. You've been working too hard, so.
So, Bill, while you're pouring that, I want to ask. So, this produces unfermented beer. So then, obviously, it has to go through a fermentation process. As you're finishing pouring that, I'll ask you how long until you actually have the finished product like this?
It takes about a week. So the nice thing about the fermentation, we sort of pioneered this fermentation in these Cornelius kegs. So we've got a special fermentation lid that we put on top of the kegs to ferment. You can pipeline the production. You can sit there and produce as many of these as you want. And you just stick them away. Generally, I put them in my basement or in my garage. It takes about a week, and then you've got your beer.
All right, well, that's going to be hard to beat, but we have 4 other inventions that we love coming up. Bill Mitchell from Pico Brew, thank you very much for being on the stage with us.
Yeah, this is good. This is a good beer.
It is.
It's very
good.
good.
An excellent
That's
beer.
a great porter, yeah. So next up, we'd like to invite onto the stage Ethan Lowry, the CEO and co-founder of Poppy.
All right.
Ethan, what are
Welcome
you
to the
showing
show.
us today?
Hi.
While we drink our beer.
Yeah, I know. I really think I need some of that.
You can finish off the growler, yeah.
So this is Poppy. It turns your iPhone into a 3D camera. How many of you had a ViewMaster toy when you were a kid? Does anybody? Okay. So for those who don't know, the ViewMaster is this toy. You have these little discs that have pictures in them. You hold up your face and you can click through and see 3D pictures of Disneyland or the Grand Canyon or places like that. And it was based actually on a technology that's a couple hundred years old called a stereoscope. And I think it's kind of incredible that this simple effect that's been around for a couple hundred years now is still so good at sort of sucking you into an experience. And Poppy is based on the same idea. So you take your iPhone, you put it into Poppy, and there's nothing to Poppy. There's no batteries, no electronics. It's just optics. So when you open Poppy up, it lines up the camera of your iPhone with the mirrors of Poppy. And when you take a picture or shoot a video, it's actually taking 2 simultaneous videos, one for your left eye, one for your right eye. And when you look through it, your brain merges those 2 images into a single 3D image. And it's kind of fun. Anyway, the genesis of this, really the inspiration was looking at this really old analog, totally non-electronic technology and merging it with a shiny, bright new iPhone. My friend Joe and I did a Kickstarter last summer to get Poppy off the ground, and both of us are software guys. We'd never done hardware before, and we were really interested in the maker movement and wanted to learn how you manufacture something. Because you work on a screen for long enough and you really start to miss the idea of something you can touch and hold and pick up and hand to somebody. And it's a lot of fun to use. There are a lot of situations where capturing it and experiencing it in 3D is really compelling. There are videos out on YouTube that show people base jumping. I'd love to see videos of that stone forest shot in 3D. And when you hold it up and you're watching it through Poppy, that 3D experience makes you feel like you're falling off the cliff. I mean, it's like a roller coaster. But Poppy lets you take your own pictures too. So you've got this ability to shoot video. I was at my daughter's soccer game a couple weeks ago, and I had some great footage. There's these shots of kids floating in midair and kicking the soccer ball, and having that captured of my own children is so amazing, because when you hold up Poppy, it kind of blocks out the rest of the world, and the 3D just really pulls you into that experience, and it makes you feel like you're right back in that moment, which is great. Poppy comes with a companion app that lets you do all this stuff really easily, and it lets you share. So there's a whole community of people taking pictures and video with Poppy, and you can see what they're doing. You can share your own pictures. And there's also another way you can share with the app. You can take a 3D picture and convert it into an animated GIF. Basically, it takes the two perspectives, the left and the right eye's view, and it lets you kind of swipe back and forth between the two. And it gives a really good 3D effect even on a flat 2D screen. So it's a good way to share with people who don't have a Poppy. Yeah, I'm going to have this out on the tables later so you can experience it for yourself, because talking to people about 3D pictures is not very effective.
So again, cost. How much does it cost, Ethan?
$59.
Okay.
A lot cheaper than that, but boy, I could use
Yes, but that is so fun.
Yes. Now, this is a good question. Should the audience take into account cost in deciding? I guess it's up to you.
It's up to you.
Cost is a factor.
It's up to you. Whatever you think's the coolest gadget, you can vote for.
I think one of the reasons that we picked this as one of the 5 inventions that we love is it really represents the Pacific Northwest's transition right now beyond software into hardware. I don't know how many folks out there know this, but Ethan was one of the co-founders of Urban Spoon, which is obviously the very popular restaurant recommendation and review app. And so Ethan is actually the embodiment of that transition, shifting from the world of software to add the world of hardware to that. And Ethan, I'm just curious, in terms of Poppy, do you guys have other things up your sleeve? Because you have a larger umbrella company. Are you going to be coming out with more innovations along these lines, or other products?
Definitely think about it, but hardware is really hard. And after coming from software, you get kind of used to the pacing where you can kick something out really fast and then move on to the next idea. Hardware, it's a slower transition. You sort of spend a lot of time figuring out how to manufacture something, figuring out how to get it sold, and when you've built that supply chain and that retail channel, it's not quite like you can just immediately pump something new into it. But yes, we've got lots of other ideas, and I'll mention also there's a group here for people interested in that in Seattle called Hack Things, and we get together every month or so, and it's just people who are usually software people moving over into hardware, and gives you a chance to talk about that.
So from the little experiment that we did at the beginning, we know that we have many iPhone users in the audience, but also many Android users. I won't ask you about BlackBerry. Are you planning to come out with an Android-compatible version of the Poppy?
It's definitely our #1 request. There are some issues about the placement of the camera. So the iPhone is really nice that it always puts the camera in exactly the same place. So you can build one sort of rotation here, and it lines up really well with all the different iPhones. That's a bit trickier, but with the Android world. But that said, people are asking for it, and we want to do it.
Can I get the iPhone 6 Plus in that baby? I don't think that's fitting.
We didn't think they'd go quite so big.
Yeah, they went big.
You can put it in there, but you have to bend it.
Yeah, nice, nice, Todd. What, the iPhone 6 is probably too big too, right?
The iPhone 6 is actually small enough to fit in it, but we're going to have to do a little re-engineering, so that's in the works.
So version 2.0. So what's the biggest thing you've learned in making the transition from software to hardware?
Patience. Working with China, we had this manufactured in China, and I was just so amazed when you go there and you see what it's like in Shenzhen. There are these warehouses full of electronics, every conceivable electronic part in the world, just stacked up in these almost like hangars full of them. The manufacturing process is so much more sophisticated than I think I just would have guessed. And so I think I've learned most about that part of the process.
Yeah. And tell us, what are the coolest things to view or look at through the Poppy? What do you like to look at, or what do people in the community most choose to look at? I know you were showing a skateboarding video before, so.
Yeah, it's fun. It's really fun to see action shots. But I got to say, my kids, that's the most fun for me. It's just seeing my own kids in there. But sports are really good. We see a lot of people taking pictures of sort of animals in motion, and it's basically anything you can think of that would have a foreground and a background. It looks pretty great.
Todd, we got to think of a way to get the Poppy integrated with some of these drones, right? Isn't that a new experiment? Could you do that?
So there's a little screw mount on the bottom, and I'm dying to get this thing.
You got to go talk to Chris Anderson at
No,
3D Robotics.
Let's connect you with Chad Copeland.
That'd be
Let's
great.
do that. That could
That'd
be
be
like
great.
one result of the GeekWire Summit. Poppy viewable aerial photography and videography. That would be fantastic.
I would love it.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Ethan.
Yeah, and congrats on Poppy.
So that's the Poppy. So remember, if you like the Poppy and Ethan Lowry and his pitch, just tweet to #GW Summit and say, I love the Poppy.
All right, we are very excited to bring out our next entrepreneur. Brooke Martin is the inventor and founder of Icee Pooch. She is from Spokane, Washington, and she is 14 years old. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Brooke Martin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome, Brooke.
Hi, nice to meet you. Thank you. Hold on, just got to set this up really fast.
All right,
All right, the timer's not going yet, so we'll reset the timer in that meantime. Take your time.
This is great because it not only combines, presence, webcam presence, but there's a little bit of a surprise that comes with this too. I don't want to steal Brooke's momentum as she's setting this up here, but we'll let her jump into her pitch.
Okay, sounds great. So I'm Brooke Martin. I'm 14 years old and from Spokane, Washington. I'm the inventor and founder of Icee Pooch. Icee Pooch is a device that lets you two-way video chat with your dog and deliver a treat to them from anywhere in the world. So Icee Pooch connects to your home Wi-Fi network, and you can use it through our free app, which you can download on any Apple or Android device. So as you can see on the front here, there are two brackets, and so these actually move up and down, so the user puts their own tablet or smartphone on the front of the device. So whatever you have at home laying around, an old iPhone or a Kindle Fire, you can put it on the front. So on the inside of the device, there's this sleeve, and so this is the cookie sleeve. So it's kind of like a Pez dispenser. You load the treats down into it. I'm gonna put them in here really fast. So I'm just gonna put two in. And so you put them in there, and then you place it inside the device. Now inside there's a motor, and it has an arm attached to it, and so it swipes the treat out into the tray for your dog. So we have our own line of Icee Pooch dog treats, and that's what you see here. But you don't have to use our treats with it. It's adaptable to whatever your dog prefers. We know that dogs can be pretty picky when it comes to their treats. And also we've recently come out with a solution where you're able to use a plastic dish, and you can put other types of dog treats, cat treats, candy for your kids who want to check in, make sure they're doing their homework, or even pills for your grandma. Just, Mom, are you taking your pills? So it's really adaptable, and we've worked to make it adaptable for the user and however they choose to use it. So if I'm at work or on vacation, I just open up the Icee Pooch app, and it's on there. And so then I just connect to video. My face will automatically come up on the screen, so you don't have to worry about training your dog to answer like a Skype call. It automatically comes up for them. And you can hear and see them. They can see and hear you as well. So you really have that two-way interaction with your dog. And if you want to show them even more love or get their attention, you press the drop cookie button, and Icee Pooch dispenses a treat.
That works.
Thank you.
Nice.
So it's a really fun product, and dogs really like it. We've been in the development stage for about 2 years, and we've recently started manufacturing. We've kept it all local in Spokane, Washington. We started selling about 2 months ago, and so far we've shipped a little bit over 400 units. We're excited to see as Icee Pooch grows and gets more attention in the market, how it'll do and how it'll affect dogs' lives everywhere. So.
All right.
All right. That's awesome, Brooke. Nice job. Awesome stuff. My first question is security. I don't know. I have a dog by the name of Henry, who many in this room may know if they listen to the radio show about some of Henry's exploits. He's an 80-pound flat-coated retriever who eats everything. This week, he ate a bag of flour.
Oh, no.
The flour is on the rug. It's nasty. Henry could penetrate this device. I think you need to do some canine testing with Henry to see if he could break this down.
So that's a really good point, and a lot of people always say that. They're like, well, my dog would know there's cookies in there. Like, they would just knock it over. So what we've done is you can actually remove the tray on the front and put this up on a countertop or a shelf so your dog can't get up to it, and then it just drops the treat onto the floor for your dog. So.
An old-fashioned solution to a real problem.
Just take the tray off.
So, Brooke, tell us about the inspiration for this project. Why did you create it?
Yeah, so my golden retriever, Kayla, when we first adopted her, she had really bad separation anxiety. So whenever we left her, whenever we were getting ready to leave for school and work in the morning, she'd run around the house and she'd be whining and carry our shoes around. And so it was really hard because she seemed really depressed and like she didn't want us to leave. So I did a lot of research, and there's actually over 10 million dogs in the United States alone that have separation anxiety. So I thought, what if there was a way to connect with your dog while you were away from home? And I like to video chat with my friends and family that live in different places, and so I thought, why not your dog?
So can the dog really see what's going on the screen? And I mean, hear the audio, I'm sure they can hear your voice, but can they see you and interact with you? I've always had this idea that dogs' vision doesn't work the way ours does, but are they able to see you?
They are, and there's been several studies released recently that show that dogs can see screens with the new LED technology that's in the screen. So they can perceive you on the screen. It kind of depends where the dog's attention is. They are more excited about the treat oftentimes.
Do you have dogs that just sit there and stare at it all day?
Oh yeah, my dog will lay here even when we're home and just wait for a treat, hoping that, you know, it will automatically deliver to her.
Which creates maybe another problem that you could try to solve.
Yeah.
So, Brooke, just a reminder, how much and where can people get it?
Yeah, so it retails for $129, and it's available for sale on our website and several other online e-tailers, and we're working to get it available on retail shelves for this coming holiday season.
So I'm sure everybody in the audience is fascinated by the fact that here you're a very accomplished 14-year-old entrepreneur pitching this very innovative device. What's it been like for you this past few years as you've built this up, and what lessons can you share about your own entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been such an amazing opportunity and experience. When I first came up with the idea, I wasn't sure how people were going to respond to it, you know, if they were going to use my age against me or for me, and it's just been so amazing. I've received so much support from people in my community, people outside of my community, and I've learned so much through it, and I think the biggest thing that I've learned is just to keep moving on with the idea and really take it as far as you can. So.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, that's Brooke Martin,
Thank
the
you.
founder of the Icee Pooch.
Thank
So
you,
let's
Brooke.
give her a big hand. Thank you,
so
Brooke.
much.
And next up, we are going to bring onto the stage Davide Vagano, the CEO of Sensoria, maker of the Smart Socks device.
All right,
Davide,
Davide, welcome to
take
the
it away.
stage.
Knock the Icee
you.
Pooch out of there. We're going to talk about socks now. So, Davide, take it away.
Thanks, John. It's
Thank
great
you.
to be here. I have Julia here with me. She's in our marketing group, and we're both wearing smart socks, as you can probably see live on stage. She's also wearing a sports bra. I'm not. The cool thing about Sensoria is that we envision a time where the garment becomes the next ultra-personal computer. So it's not just about microelectronics, but it's about textile sensing that we can actually embed into whatever people wear. And we all do the same thing in the morning, right? Hopefully. We take a shower, we put our clothes on, right? So wouldn't it be nice if all of us had the opportunity to actually wear the style of clothing that we have and we want on our fitness activities, our favorite ones, and go for a run, just running with a t-shirt that provides us with heart rate monitoring capabilities, and a pair of socks that provides us with not just that, but also the ability to detect how we run. So we have developed Sensoria. Sensoria is the most accurate pedometer out there. If you don't take a step, it doesn't count like a step. But the cool thing that we have developed is the fact that it also can improve your running form. And in the United States alone, there are about 36 million runners. And out of these 36 million runners, between 65 and 85% of them get hurt every year. We think they're all geeks, basically people that actually work like maniacs during the week, and then they try to make up for lost time during the weekend, right? So, and then we get hurt. And we get hurt because, according to Daniel Lieberman at Harvard, he says, if we overstride, if you heel strike, and you are off cadence, impact forces are equal to 3x or 4x your body weight. I'm overweight, I have 2 bulge discs. I don't want to run the wrong way. I want to make sure that I run the best possible way and I land on the forefoot and I keep my cadence higher, right? So that is why we developed Sensoria. There is a virtual coach that provides real-time feedback during the run to the runner. So I can actually listen to my favorite music, and when I'm doing something great, I get positive reinforcement. When I do something that I don't want to do, like heel striking, I get feedback immediately and in real time. So the way it works, you actually see it here on stage. We have a sock, and the sock is actually a PCB. We had to actually interview and fly to actually meet with 70 sock manufacturing companies. Sock knitting machines, we didn't know. We were crazy enough to not know this, but they're very fancy round machines with lots of needles moving very quickly, right? It's impossible for a sock knitting machine to draw a vertical line without cutting the yarn. This is a PCB, you guys understand. If we cut the yarn, it's not a PCB anymore, right? So you can actually see the golden thread on the sock is actually the conductive fiber, and the black at the bottom, at the heel level, and the two metatarsal levels, is actually the sensor. It's 100% textile, and to that, we connect something that you would call the Fitbit for the ankle, right? We have an accelerometer in here, we have a Bluetooth smart device, and it's magnetic, so all I do is I snap it to the sock, and it starts driving data to my phone. That's Sensoria.
That's great, Davide. So you say it's the Fitbit for the sock. How is this technology different than the Fitbit? And what can you collect here that you might not be able through the wristband device that people are wearing?
It's a great question. Most of the traditional pedometers or activity trackers get used in the first 20 days, and then they get thrown into a drawer, right? We think that we need to provide a deeper, actionable experience to the runner and the fitness enthusiast, and that's why we actually provide real-time feedback on how people land on the ground. So if I actually heel strike, which means landing on my heel, versus forefoot strike, we provide that feedback. Cadence, how many times I actually, my number of strides per minute. That's
right,
cadence.
so you can improve your running technique by using this device.
Correct.
And that's the goal.
And on top of that, we can integrate in real time multiple garments at the same time. So if I'm wearing a heart rate monitoring t-shirt, the application is able to connect up to 4 garments at the same time. So at that point, all the calculated measures like calories become an order of magnitude more precise, right? Because I have heart rate, I have activity.
You're almost a robot by this time. You're so connected while you're out there running. So
it's a wearable computer.
Is this going to be out at your next soccer match, John? You're going to be wearing the Sensoria sock?
I don't know. How much do they weigh, and is it burdensome at all for the runner? Because runners are very particular about their feet and how that strikes. So talk about that.
So the sock weighs the same weight as a normal technical sock that you would buy at Roadrunner Sports. The anklet is 28 grams, so it's less than an ounce. We ran a test with 60 runners. Only 3 mentioned that they could detect something at the ankle level. I'm actually wearing it, as you can see.
Got one on. Okay. Look at that, Todd.
This is me walking. I mean, it's live right now.
So just a reminder, how much and where can you get them?
$199 for 4 pair of socks, the anklet, the charger, and the free app that you can download from the App Store right now.
Okay.
So it's $199.
$199 with 4 pairs of socks.
With 4 pairs of socks.
And the anklet with the charger. You see the boxes over there. After that, you just buy an additional 3 pairs of socks for $59.
Okay. Very good.
And then the sports bra, how much is that?
$79 if you already have a Bluetooth device that you can connect to that, because we are totally open as a platform. So you can actually connect Garmin and Polar to that, or you can actually purchase ours, and that, together with the sports bra or t-shirt, is $149.
Okay. Great. Okay.
We also have an SDK available. We're geeks, so if you actually want to actually implement your own application for golf, or cycling, or diabetic foot ulcers, or fall detection, come and talk to us. We have a table in the next room.
Well, this is part of a big trend that we're seeing, obviously, across the tech landscape right now with wearables, and we're getting a great example of it. So Davide from Sensoria, thank you for being here today.
Thanks a lot, John.
Thank you. Thank you much.
All right, just a reminder, you can pick your favorite by tweeting the name with the hashtag GW Summit. We'll be tabulating the results after the session this afternoon, and the winner will be featured on an upcoming episode of the GeekWire radio show on 97.3 Cairo Radio.
You sound like a pro doing that, Tom.
Yes, exactly. All right. The next speaker and demonstrator that we have has the most unique title that you would ever imagine. He is Chief Asteroid Miner at Planetary Resources. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chris Lewicki. Chris, welcome to the show.
Welcome, Chris.
All right. Do you want to set that on the table there?
Oh, I'll hold it for a little
Okay.
bit.
Sounds
All right.
perfect.
Show us what you got here.
What is this?
What is this?
Yeah, so I'm Chris. I'm an asteroid miner. A recent affliction, I guess. And probably many people in the audience didn't know that Seattle is the center of the universe for space mining. That's where Planetary Resources is based. We're just across the lake here in Redmond. And we are inventing robotic space drones to scour the solar system for resources. And as science fiction as that sounds, it's actually something that technology is allowing us to do, much the same technology that's in Chris's drones and other things. We can take these types of things and build what I have in my hand here, which is a full-scale representation of our Arcid 100 space telescope. So this is like taking the Hubble Space Telescope, something that's the size of a bus, and with technology today, we can kind of squeeze these things down into very tiny packages. So what we're doing is taking this technology and using it to robotically explore space. Our goal is to go out there and find the resources that future humans, when we go and explore space, we kind of want to be able to live off the land. Just like when Lewis and Clark came out here, they didn't bring a huge Conestoga wagon with them. They kind of lived off things along the way. When we go into space, we're going to have to do the same thing. Technology doesn't improve that. But the good thing is the asteroids that are out there in the solar system, many of them are very near to the Earth. They're called near-Earth asteroids. And they have everything that we really need in space in the future. Things like hydrogen, oxygen. Of course, you can take hydrogen and oxygen and have water, make a rocket fuel. You can protect yourself from radiation in space. And then there are all sorts of things that we kind of take water for granted here on Earth. It's an industrial solvent. We use it to move things around. Certainly we grow plants of it. And of course, lastly, maybe most importantly, we're made of the stuff. So this is our goal. We actually are launching our very first spacecraft on a NASA flight this month. October 20th, the Orb-3 mission to resupplying the International Space Station. We'll have a little guy like this one, Arcid 3, a little bit smaller version, some of our kind of our beta version, testing out the technology. We'll be launching a slightly larger version next year, and in just a few years, our goal is to have the first privately built, privately financed robotic mission to deep space to a near-Earth asteroid.
Wow. This is fantastic. So, Chris, I was actually at the Planetary Resources launch a couple years ago at the Museum of Flight. There was a Boeing engineer who was sitting next to me, and the thing that resonated most with him was your explanation of essentially the disposable nature of these. Tell the audience about what happens if you lose one of these. Is it the end of the Earth?
Yeah, so we take a lot of inspiration, I guess, from the way that the internet developed and cloud computing, and the idea that if you have a server farm with 1,000 servers on it, you're not constantly going around repairing every server and every broken hard drive. They're a commodity. You have enough of them, they're built very similarly or identically, and our plan actually is to send a little server farm of these to an asteroid, maybe a half dozen or so. And if one of them breaks, not a big deal, but kind of it's the opposite of when failure is not an option, success gets really expensive. So we'll make failure an option. These things can break, and what gets really exciting is rather than making very complex tools and mechanisms and things like that might go out with a robotic space pickaxe and dig into the asteroid, we can use one of these things like litmus paper and light up the gas tank in the rockets and just run into the asteroid, and it becomes kind of an expensive hammer, but relatively speaking, it's kind of a brute force.
So, Chris, we asked everybody else, how much does it cost? But I guess this isn't available for retail, is it?
What does it cost?
This is, we are, if we are innovating in anything, we're innovating in cost. And one of our recent scientific advisors who joined the company is Professor Dante Loretta. And Dante is a principal investigator of a NASA mission, which is $1 billion mission. $1,000 million to go out to an asteroid and bring a piece back of it. We're looking at doing these types of missions for a few $1 million each. So, a reduction of 20 or 50 or 100 is our goal. So it's still a little bit more expensive than your average sports car, but a lot cheaper than your average Hollywood blockbuster.
And with this device specifically, this is a telescope, so it's supposed to go out and identify where the asteroids are versus the mining device that you're eventually going to go and try to build, correct?
Yeah, John, that's exactly right. And really, this particular one, the Arcid 100, does two things for us. One, it is what we eventually, the eyes and ears that we want to have have when we're out in space at the asteroid. So you've got a camera, maybe we can put one of the stereoscope 3D devices on it, and we'll have 2 of them, so we could, what was the name of that product again?
Oh, the Poppy. The
Poppy, yeah. So we'll have 2 Archids and a Poppy, and then you can get nice stereo pictures.
We're making a lot of business happen here at the summit today.
So, so that's something that we do at the asteroid. Before we get there, though, you actually can use telescopes to know what asteroids are made out of. And this is something that's exciting today. I always figure out which pocket I put it in. We always carry a piece with me. There's actually 50,000 different samples of asteroids that have made it here to the Earth. And when you see a shooting star at night, that used to be an asteroid. Now it's a meteorite. So scientists can analyze these here on Earth. And what we know about those that we hold in our hands, we can actually look at the light with a telescope and have a great idea of what we're going to find in space.
So I think most people are going to ask, why mine asteroids? What's the point?
The point is to enable humans to eventually become a multi-planetary species. The Earth is a wonderful place, but I think a lot of people are concerned about the long-term prospects of continued growth. So rather than tell ourselves that, well, we can't grow and we can't expand and we can't go to new places anymore, let's just solve that problem. And in space, resources and the resources on the frontier are the solution to that problem. And it allows us to get into a mode where the same thing that settled the West with the gold rush in California and the Yukon, the attraction to the business opportunity as well as the use of the resources like the fish and timber and natural resources, those are the things that are going to enable us to turn humans into a multiplanetary species.
This is great. Well, thank you very much. Chris Lewicki from Planetary
Thanks,
Resources.
Chris. So there you have it.